Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Wednesday. It's July 5th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And you can see here on the daily chart where prices had traded back down, and we ended up bouncing back up, took some of it back. Um, this was a range day, and we kind of closed upper middle part of the range. So uh, it was a real weak, very low volume day. A lot of people probably still on vacation. So I would guess that a lot of the institutional traders and bankers and things like that probably took the whole week off for vacation for the July 4th, since it kind of fell in the middle and we lost the first couple of trading days. So maybe it'll pick up a little bit Thursday and Friday, but it may not. And we'll probably continue to be a little slow going into the fall. Usually late summer, everybody's taking vacation and taking time off, uh, and things generally don't pick back up again till the fall. So we'll see how it goes from here. But you can see on the daily chart here, uh, just kind of a not much change of any at all. It was mostly a range day that closed in its upper half of the range. So let's flip over to the intraday chart, 2000 tick chart, and take a look at what it looks like. But here it is. We traded down the overnight. We traded right back up just prior to started trading higher, just prior to the open, traded right back up, bounced around up here, kind of sold off. Looked like we were headed back to the lows, and we bounced early, tested the highs one more time, and then sold off of that, and we closed uh, pretty much close to the middle of the range. So you can see not a lot of volume there, not a lot of movement. It's not much you can say about it. There's some trades here. We'll go through them. It won't take long today because there's not many. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if the whole week's like this. But we'll see. You never know. We could have a nice rally before it's over. But this is how I saw it today. Let's zoom in here. We'll go through the trades. And you have to be patient because there wasn't anything early. 7 o'clock came as we're working down here. Right in here. It's kind of as we're bottoming out here, 7 o'clock. And we're just kind of bouncing around. And we bounce. I don't see anything that would make me want. It's just too congested. Uh, there's a higher low here after this new low, but you can see how congested. And then we had another test here. You could say that's a triple test. It's not a great signal bar though, and it looks really congested. Maybe you take that trade on a triple test, but I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't take that trade. Just sit tight. You might look at it like, hey, you got a new low and you turn down, and it looks like two legs up. So you could look at this as a failure, maybe. So that's another possibility. I'm not crazy about that either, but that's a possibility to look at. Then we run up, and you actually come across here and you get a triple test and a pretty nice signal bar, but it's one of those deals where you got to go long at the high of the bar or the high of the entire move, and was right at the midline, so it could easily tick higher and turn down like it did and keep going down. So it's not a great setup either. We get another bounce here. It's just a first entry. You could look at that as a failure, although you got a little tick lower right here. You could count this as a new low and assume this is a move up, and you get a first entry. Actually, you get another failure so you can't even really get a failure out of that. We do get a new low right there because it's lower than that little matching low. So yeah, you still might look at that as a failure. I don't think I would trade that. It's a possibility. If you saw it that way, you give it a green. But you can see this low is lower than those two bar matching, so you can count that as a new swing low. So first entry, second entry, fails. It's not. That would be a continuation pattern. It looks like this bounced really strongly and gaps over, so I don't know if you could get in that anyway. So it may have been a mute point regardless. And then you just start bouncing sideways. There's nothing to enter here. Um, Going short there is a possibility because you definitely have a triple test. But when it makes those two bar matching lows that are both dojis without any bodies, that's just a no-no to go short there. But then you get a little failed break lower, it moves a measured move plus some, and then comes back and closes on its high. We actually broke higher, I think, and then turned down and then came back up. And in that case, you might have tried to trade this one. But anytime you get an engulfing bar on a failure on a breakout like that, wait till this bar closes. Don't just put your stop here and let it take you out. Let this close and then put your stop below it. And if it takes you out, then obviously let it go. But you'll see this happen a lot. They trick everybody in here and they run their stops and run them out. And then they come back and then it takes off real strongly. So don't get caught up in that on these engulfing bars. Don't just take the hit on it. Kind of, if you're a decent chart reader, and you feel pretty comfortable in your read, don't let them run you out like that right there. Try to hang on to it until it closes, then put your stop one tick below the engulfing bar and wait and see what happens. And if you did that, this is a winning trade. It quickly moves up. Then we're just working sideways. So again, not much you can do to enter there until you get a breakout. And so you do get a little failed breakout that tests some of the former highs over here. And there's a new low there, so there's a first entry, second entry. So it's also a second entry short, and you're a little piece from the EMA. The only reason I marked it green was because you got another inside bar that's a doji before it broke lower. And so anytime you get those two bar matching lows, sometimes they'll trick you. So it's not a great setup. It ends up working, but it's just not a perfect setup. And of course we bounce. No way to get in that. Runs up here, gets a break, makes a new high. And so closes once again inside that line with a bearish bar. I like going short there. It then makes a little lower high. If you weren't already in, I wouldn't have a problem entering there, because we should be going lower here. And sure, that's exactly kind of what, it just turns down. And it didn't go far before we got a break again. I don't see any setups here. I don't think you want to go long on a range day into the highs. Wait and see if you get some kind of short setup that you can go short. And again, it does turn down. I don't see anything here that looks real tradable. But then you're kind of working along here, and you make a high, you get a first, second. So that's a triple test right there after making a lower low. So I like going short right there. And that's a pretty decent move for the day. Again, you're not going to get any long-term runner, but you might be the only trade you need for the day. So if you can get a runner on a day like this, try to get one, because you don't get a lot of opportunities. There's just not a lot of entries. So when you get a good entry, maybe you can get a runner. You just have to see, So, but anyway, it makes a new low and turns up and starts working higher. This is actually two legs back to the EMA. It's just not a good setup, though. And then you get your break and two legs up to a new high. And where does it turn down? Right at the key entry point again. Big bearish bar. I like going short there. And this time you'd look for it to come back to the lows, hopefully. And that's exactly where it goes. So if you catch that trade, that's a sweet trade. Boom. Of course, it bounces off the lows. There's a higher low here, but you can't. It's not a tradable higher low. It's moved too far. Pulls back again. Also creates a break and then runs higher, and you actually get a couple of swings up as it goes into the 2:30 hour. Yeah, just not much happening this afternoon. After about 1 o'clock or so, we had one nice trade, then it just died out. So not a lot of trades, period. You have to be real patient today. Again, you'll see a lot of that on holidays like that. So just be careful. Trade it like a range until something tells you different. And again, just be prepared. The volume may be low for the next month or so as people take vacations going into before school starts in August. People want to take their kids on vacation and take a break, and get out of the heat. I mean, it's been oppressive here where I'm at lately, 100 degrees and 90% humidity. It's just been oppressive. So it gets hot here. That's not unusual, but it came quickly, and we didn't get warmed up for it. So it's been brutal for everybody. But if it's hot where you are, try to stay cool. Um, keep studying your charts. Keep studying your trades. That's what makes you better at this. Coming in and just trading and then closing up shop and going home, that's not enough. It'll never make you a great trader. You might learn some things as you're watching prices print, and you'll get that screen experience, which you need. But you really need to study your chart. Look for the things you missed. Study your trades you took, even your winners. Just want to reinforce bad habits on taking a bad trade that you just got lucky and it worked, because it happens sometimes. I see a lot of people send me their chart all excited because they had a winning trade and it was a horrible choice and they just got lucky. So you want to only take the sure things. So you want to try to do that as much as you can. But there it is. This is how I saw it today. It's just a range day. Anytime prices do not get outside the overnight high and the overnight low, and it just works sideways, that's a range day. Um, so really what we had was a range day today. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed your long weekend. It's very rare that it's nice to get a 3-day weekend on a holiday, but to get a 4-day weekend was really nice. I did look at Monday's price action. You can see it didn't do anything. It's just not worth getting hung up in this and riding this out all day and maybe even taking a loss on it. So there's just no moving on days like that. Don't waste your time. But there it is, folks. That's how I saw it. It's a range day. There's a handful of trades here, a few green ones. You should have been able to find a couple of trades today if you needed them. But anyway, we'll be back again to do it tomorrow. It's going to be a real short week because of the Monday and Tuesday holiday. So be prepared for that. But we'll do one more tomorrow, and that'll probably wrap it up for the week as far as chart lessons. But anyway, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.